Paano pag minura ka ni Allan Moore, parang, fuck you, Doy?
I would be like, guys, guess who just cursed me out?
Hi, welcome to Coffee and Comics. Tonight, or today, I don't know what day is it because we're really like,
It's really dark in here.
It's really dark, so whatever. It's a special show because the interviewer becomes the interviewee. We have DUY TANO.
What's up, man?
Hey, dude. I'm a big fan of your podcast since I met you. You told me about it and I checked it out. And lo and behold, I find you talking to one of my idols, Mark Waid. That is crazy.
That's pretty cool. Mark Waid's been on like 4 times, I think. Maybe once every 6 months he comes on to talk about his newest project. So the last time he came on, he was talking about Superman, The Last Days of Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
His Black Label book with Brian Hitch. It's pretty cool.
Have you read it?
I've read the first issue. The reason I interviewed him at the time was because the second issue was supposed to come out that month.
Yeah.
It still has not come out. It's been 5 months.
Why kaya? Is there like a delay in production?
Brian's
or?
late.
That's usually the case now if you have a partner artist.
Yeah.
Diba? I think one of the fastest working duos that I've come across was Brubaker, Sean Phillips. Ang bilis talaga, like dire-diretso.
I think a huge part of that is because they've been working together for so long, right?
For so long, no?
That I don't think Brubaker needs to write super detailed for Sean.
Di na.
And Sean doesn't need to ask Brubaker what he's going to draw.
They kind of know their shtick na, no? They're just, I know what he wants and ganyan na yan.
By the way, can I say?
Yeah.
Brubaker and Sean Phillips, I see your reckless print on the wall here at Coffee and Comics.
My favorite.
Which is wasteable.
It's very wasteable. I think I have a graphic right here. You guys can come over, hang out with us. We've been talking about 80s, 90s, and 70s stuff, history of stuff here kanina pa, and it's pretty much very much informative.
But when I see a Brubaker and Phillips comic come in the mail, I immediately open it and read it, and I can't say that about anything else.
Same. That's one of my favorite runs. I think my favorite Brubaker, Sean Phillips book would be Kill or Be Killed. I got the omnibus. It's just crazy. I love it so much. And next would be Friend of the Devil, the Reckless series.
Yeah, mine is Criminal and then the Reckless series.
I love Criminal.
You looking forward to the show?
Rap. Yes and no. Takot ako eh.
Yeah.
I just hope that it doesn't turn out to be crappy. I mean, those characters are so well written.
So fully formed. I have a friend. His name is JV. He wants Leo DiCaprio to play Leo. I think it's because they have the same name.
The look, pero kamukha ba sila?
JV may be in the crowd giving us comments.
We have a brand new audience in the shop today. I don't know. We thank you for coming over and watching us do our whatever. And so ikaw, you have high expectations for the show?
I know Brubaker's involved, and I don't think crime stuff is hard to get right. So I would hope that it's good. I am a really big fan of Criminal. My worry is that they might turn it into a thing where there's one main character throughout, which is not really what Criminal's about.
But they have to do volume. So the first season should be
Coward.
Coward, which is my favorite.
My favorite too.
My favorite is Coward. In comic books, I think the casting is pretty important.
Okay.
I think if you ask me who would play Ethan Reckless in the Reckless series, Pedro Pascal. Let's just cash in on Pedro Pascal.
Pedro Pascal should just play everyone.
Everything. Mabenta yan for sure. Diba?
Now let me ask you something. Is it more important for an actor to look like the character,
no,
or just like be able to get that particular?
No, I don't think so. I think he has to get the yung pinaka essence of that character. I think and bringing a new flavor to it also. And I'm not kidding. I think Pedro Pascal can really nail Ethan Reckless.
Ethan? Absolutely.
Mission Impossible. Parang Ethan eh.
Sebastian Stan.
Pwede. Yeah, pwede.
Plus, he's a friend of Brubaker's because they did Winter Soldier.
You know what? Brubaker though didn't get any credit and
Is that
any.
bullshit?
I don't know if that's true. Sabi nila, I don't know who said that. One of those channels that I'm subscribed to. Na Brubaker though didn't get anything from Winter Soldier.
You want to know what's weird? I want to hear your thoughts on this. No, the Winter Soldier's credited creators.
Oh,
It's not Brubaker and Epling,
who?
right? It's because he's still Bucky.
Okay.
But Joe Simon and Jack Kirby. But Nightwing's credited creators are Marv Wolfman and George Perez.
Oh,
It doesn't make sense, right? Bob Kane didn't create anything, and I'm on the record
yes, we
for
have
that.
to state that. Sorry, panalo na. It's been done, di ba? Tapos na yan. Parang ano yan? It's like the Christopher Columbus thing. He's not a hero. He's an asshole. So tama, pati si Bob Kane. Sorry.
Dude, how long have you had this shop running?
4 months, roundabouts. You're my 6th episode, I think.
And what's business been like?
Horrible. That's why you come over.
That's why you people should come over.
Come over. Buy something.
Avail of the comics and the alcohol.
Drink coffee. And the great pizza.
The delicious pizza. Yes, absolutely. The tinapa pizza is really good.
Oh, thank you. It's been developed through ages. It's an old recipe from my No, it's not. It's just my friend just made it. He's a chef. So when did you start Comics Cube?
That's a two-part question. So
Okay.
when I was in 2010, I started a website called the Comics Cube. It was just
A website siya.
It's just one of those regular blogs. No?
Okay.
This was back before Facebook pages. And
Tagal na nun,
stuff.
bata pa ako nun.
Oo nga eh, ako rin eh. So, yung nangyayari doon was I would just talk about comics and much like any younger fan, I would rant
Right.
about what I liked and didn't like.
Right. Parang ka nagre-review. You were reviewing comics.
Yeah, and then that was
in a sense.
2010, and 1 year later was New 52, so I had a lot of things to talk about.
Oh, shit, yeah.
But then, even then, sometimes I would reach out to do interviews, but I wouldn't do it so much because I didn't really like transcribing. But nung nag-pandemic,
Right.
July of 2020, just out of nowhere, I tagged Gene Ha in a post. I was like, I just posted something from the Allan Moore and Gene Ha comic top 10.
In Instagram.
No, on Facebook, and I tagged Gene Ha, and Gene Ha actually interacted with me.
The real.
The real Gene Ha. So I said, what if I just reached out to comics creators and I asked them if they'd like to come on a podcast with me? So the first one I got was Budget Tan, writer of Trece. Partly because he's a friend of mine. And I knew that I could get him.
Hindi pa siya nag-migrate at that point.
No, he was already
in,
he was already in Denmark. Pero we were able to talk about, because I interviewed him for the website too. And then I also got people like Gene Ha,
Right.
Carl Kiesel, Greg Rucka was an early one.
I haven't seen the Greg Rucka episode. You had Greg
Yeah,
Rucka?
Greg
Oh
Rucka
my
on,
God,
man.
I love Greg Rucka.
We talked about Batwoman and his Lois Lane comic that was coming out at the time.
Galing ng Lois Lane comic.
Galing, no?
Ang galing nun. Enjoy ako dun.
And why he loves Renee Montoya so much. You know, like that Renee Montoya comic where she comes out?
Right.
That won like a GLAAD award, right?
It did, ba?
It won a GLAAD award for gay representation.
Right.
And then his kids apparently read it. And his
Okay.
kids were like, I don't get it. What's the big deal? Right? Because but at this point, it's just accepted.
That's the generation
It's
gap.
the generation gap.
Yeah.
So I got that. The big one for me, I think the one that got me a lot of subscribers was Neil Gaiman.
Yeah. Did you expect him to answer back?
He actually didn't answer me back. Netflix set it up. So
Sanctioned by Netflix.
yeah, sanctioned by Netflix. They said you have
This
5
guy.
minutes with Neil Gaiman, and then 5 minutes later, after I interviewed him, during my interview, I said, I think my time is up, but I don't think anyone's stopping me. And then Neil Gaiman says to me, if no one is stopping you, keep going.
With that beautiful voice of his.
And I want that on a T-shirt. It's so motivational. No one is
nga.
stopping you. Keep going.
Oh, keep going. Galing. Wow. Who else haven't you interviewed? I think you've interviewed most of the greats and the up-and-comings. And that would be interesting. Yun na lang siguro.
I have spoken to Allan Moore's daughter, Leia.
Really?
And Dave Gibbons. So a lot of his collaborators: Dave Gibbons, J.H. Williams. I've spoken to David Lloyd on Messenger, but he doesn't do video interviews. I've spoken to Xander Cannon and Rick Veitch.
Right.
There's just a lot of his collaborators.
But not interviewed yet.
And every single one of them has told me, I'm never getting Allan Moore on the show. It's never going to happen. Wow. Including his daughter.
He's that much of a recluse?
It's just that he never wants to talk about comics. Because
talk about something else.
That's what I said. That's what I said. But my channel is called the Comics Cube.
Do you like cooking?
That's what I said. But my channel is called the Comics Cube. I can't do it. So
it's hard, no.
So they said it's never going to happen because he just really doesn't want to talk about comics. The problem is that whenever he does talk about anything, like his new novel,
right,
or, the interviewers will always ask him exactly about the things he doesn't want to talk about, like the Killing Joke.
I get it.
And I get it, man. Like
I get it. After so many years of doing the same thing, I get it. There was a funny story. I'm a guitar player, and I met Paul Gilbert from Mr. Big, the band. I met him, and I was talking to him for a while. He never liked talking about guitars. Every time I'd go to a guitar topic, how about strings? You know what? I really like Chinese food. Iibahin niya. So I get it. I gets ko na to. Then I try to go back. You know the tone zone pickup? What's your favorite Filipino dish? I mean, he'll change it. So I get it. I think ganun din si Allan Moore. He's probably so tired of it. Unless you talk about something else, diba?
I mean, it's been 40 years and they're asking him about the same things. I would get sick of it too.
I'm sure.
I counted it, and so the Eisner Awards, which is the comic book equivalent of the Oscars, Allan Moore has more Best Writer wins
than anyone else.
Like, he wins it, and then Niel Gaiman wins it like 4 years in a row.
Right.
And then Allan Moore wins it.
Right.
Until he's done in like 2002.
Right. Walang pakialam si Mark Millar dyan. Sabihin naman.
Oh no, Mark Millar is never.
I'll just make money.
I've never had Ed Brubaker on and Sean Phillips. I would love to have those guys on.
If that happens, oh my God. I have probably watched every single Ed Brubaker, Sean Phillips, and his son. Sean Phillips' son, who's also an English.
Jacob Phillips.
So I probably saw all their interviews, and he's nice.
They're very nice, yeah. And I think Ed Brubaker is the best writer working in comics today.
Same.
Not in terms of subject matter, because he writes about one thing, but he's just like so excellent at doing it.
What I like about Brubaker, it's grounded. My favorite Daredevil run is Brubaker's.
Really? Not Frank Miller's?
Oh, well, yeah, kasama naman yun, but that's a given.
Okay.
It's like, it's a given. It's like, you like Watchmen? Oh, duh. Diba, parang, that's a given. So, with that said, I think Brubaker's run in the whole after Alex Maleev and after Bendis.
Yeah, Bendis.
Ang ganda ng ginawa ni Brubaker and really grounded the character. Gave him real problems, and that galing niya talaga. And how he does dialogue.
Yeah.
Diba? Ang gripping.
He's one of the best dialogue writers I've ever seen.
Same.
So him and Mark Waid.
No, it was freaking awesome having you. It's always a pleasure talking to you. There's always something to learn when you talk to this guy. So if you want,
vice versa.
Thank you. And if you guys wanna meet the Comics Cube guy himself, he hangs out here in Coffee and Comics, and come by, hang out, give me some money because I really need it. Thank you.
Go to the Comics Cube, youtube.com/the Comics Cube.
The links are down below, guys. Bye.
Thank you.